Hello, everyone. I'm Jensen. So the Associated Press has just called Ohio for President Donald J. Trump. So I wanted to hop on here and give you a quick update on some other local and state races that have been called. Plus, I want to show you how you can get updates throughout the night because we're not done yet and it is getting quite late. But first, I want to make sure I am very clear that election results tonight are not the official results. These are projections. The certification comes much later. So that's something I just want everyone to keep in mind. I do have a video that explains kind of everything that happens once polls are closed, what that process looks like. So I can put a link to that in the description of this video once I'm done here. But for now, let's look. I hope you can see the screen behind me, and you'll probably see the back of my head a little bit too. But this is the homepage of our website. There's a couple ways you can get to the elections results page. So you see this here, we have it logged as breaking news. Plus it's the top story right here, or you can just go to wtol.com/elections. It'll take you to the same place. So I will click here, and hopefully my internet works. Yes, you'll see a lot of information up top here, but what's really neat, you can see instantly where the electoral votes are at the moment. So even though, and actually now this has just changed. Biden now has more electoral votes and more popular votes. You can see those numbers right here. And if you want to see the full map, I'll show you that first before we go through local races. So you can click there for the full map. And this is actually really cool. I've been looking at this all night long. So if you scroll down a little bit, you can see all of the states that have already been called. And so obviously red is being called for Trump and blue means it's been called for Biden. But if you hover over it, I don't know if you can see, but it'll tell you how many electoral votes each state has, and then how many expected votes were reported. So that's interesting. And for states that haven't been called yet, if it's like tinted red, you know that's where it's leaning currently. If it's gray, like Nevada and Alaska, that means they don't have any information yet. But if you hover over Texas, you can see how much of the expected vote has been reported. You can see how many electoral votes and how much each candidate is leading by. So this is a really helpful tool. Like I said, I've been using it all night long to check. Ohio, as you can see, has 18 electoral votes. So that is a big win for the president. However, like I said, Biden is currently still leading in terms of the electoral votes, but that can obviously all change. As you can see, some of these are still projected. I know Michigan could change. Michigan can't count the absentee ballots until polls were closed. So that's going to really shift things. And like you can see here, only 57% is reporting right now. But currently, President Donald Trump is winning by 10 points in Michigan. So any Michiganders watching, that's what's happening, but you may still have a while before your state is called. But that, again, is just an easy way to kind of visually see how each candidate's doing. You can also, if you go back, when you look at this little metric here, you can scroll, there we go. You can click to see the Senate makeup as well, which is actually split 50-50 at the moment. It's getting close. You need 51 for the majority, of course. And then there's the House, which you can see there, and the makeup of the governor. So you can switch through here for that. But let's scroll down. I'm going to show you some of the local races that have been called. Again, I'm sorry you keep seeing the back of my head. So these have not yet been called, but these are two big issues on the Toledo ballot. Toledo City Council, not yet. Here we go. The Findlay City School District levy. Voters decided to vote that down this time. That would have given the school an extra $3 million generated revenue. It's a 3.9 mil levy. This is actually the third time in the last calendar year that Findlay City Schools has lost a levy to voters. So it was fairly close. But unfortunately, again, for the school, the voters decided to vote that down this time. Genoa, their district levy renewal was approved. However, the new district levy was voted down. So that's an update on Genoa. Michael Shee, the Ohio House of Representatives, District 46. He has gone. He is a Democrat. Teresa Gavarone, Republican for Ohio Senate District 2. That is set. Again, these are projections, but this is what's being projected currently. Perrysburg School District levy is approved by voters. Pike, Delta, York. Their district income tax was voted down. And the Wood County Sheriff, Mark Bosch, I always mess it up, I'm so sorry. Mark Vasilishin, Republican, he was reelected. So, couple other key races that aren't listed right there. Democrat Marcy Kaptur is projected to win re-election to U.S. House in Ohio's 9th Congressional District. Republican Bob Latta wins re-election to U.S. House in Ohio's 5th Congressional District. And Republican Jim Jordan wins re-election to the U.S. House in Ohio's 4th Congressional District. So those are a couple key races that aren't right behind me here. So again, I'll show you how I get here if anyone's just joining. Let's see, I'll just go back to the main page. So if you're just on WTOL.com, we currently have it as breaking. Oh, nope, the fact that Trump is now breaking news, so you get the latest info there. But don't worry, it is the top story right here on the side, or you can just go to WTOL.com/elections. It'll take you again to the same place. So I'll click on that. Scroll down. And you can see that right there and click for that cool map for the balance of power. Again, Ohio has been called by AP for President Donald Trump, and these are all projections. Nothing is certified. That comes much later. It's a whole process that I explained in my previous video and in a deep dive that I did last night. So you can check those out if you're interested. I'm going to do a quick recap. I know the audio was a little off in my last video, so I'm going to explain briefly again how calling these elections work. We with WTOL, we use the Associated Press. So a lot of the national outlets will do their own projected results. So even though we're a CBS station, CBS does their projected results, but we as WTOL use the Associated Press. So if you didn't know, the Associated Press is an American nonprofit news agency, and for more than 170 years, analysts have been counting the nation's votes in real time, and that's what they're doing tonight, which is how you see, that's how we're getting these results that you see behind me here. So how does this work? Well, it's pretty interesting. Shortly before polls close, roughly 4,000 stringers, who are essentially just temporary freelancers, they head out to county boards of elections, and as officials begin to release those results, the stringers phone in the raw vote to AP journalists and analysts across the country. So more than 800 vote entry clerks answer those calls. They take down the tally and enter the results into AP's election database. So since many states and counties put their results up on their websites, there are clerks who check those as well and start feeding that into the database as well. So the clerks who take the stringers' calls and ask questions to make sure that that information is legit, basically. Questions might include whether there are any problems in the stringers' county, and they might challenge the details if anything seems suspect. As votes are entered, automated checks look for any discrepancies. So maybe if there are more votes reported that are cast than there are even registered voters in the county, that would be a flag, and that would be automatically triggered, and then a supervisor would be called over. So that's how that works. The AP has a team of election research and quality control analysts who monitor and examine these results using a bunch of tools in their own research to make sure everything is accurate. And something to note is AP generally, they don't just make general guesses. They don't call anything unless they are unless it's definitive that a candidate has won. So like for instance, they never made a call in the Bush v. Gore election that in 2000, which was famously contested, saying the margin in Florida was just too close to call. And actually, the margin is close in Florida. Well, it was. It looks like it has been officially called red in the last, I would say at least, it must be 10 minutes then. So these are changing rapidly, and this is why this is such a good resource to have. It updates every couple minutes here, so you can see which states have been called. There are only a few left. It looks like Nevada is finally starting to get some results in as well, only 2%. But again, that's how you check this. Ohio has been called for Donald Trump. Michigan does not have any results yet. We might not get them for a while. I know they have a lot of mail-in ballots to count that they haven't been able to start until today. But that's really just what I wanted to show you. I don't know if you have any questions. If you do, you can drop them in the comments and I'll try to respond. Or you can text us at 419-248-1100. We will do our best to get you verified information, and send us a text at that same number. Again, that's 419-248-1100. If you saw anything weird or just something wrong at the polls, we want to know about that. We have teams investigating all of that as we speak. Plus, you can check out our coverage that starts early this morning, just a couple hours here. And then you can check out, again, our website like I showed you. And this is probably the last YouTube live video that I'm going to do tonight. But with all of that, I hope you have a happy Tuesday.